The blaring alarm shattered the calm of the interstellar medical station Asteria, causing Dr. Samuel Larson to spill his coffee across his white lab coat as the overhead lights switched to pulsing red. He'd been on the station for 6 months as part of Earth's first medical exchange program, but he'd never heard this particular alert before. "Breach in Containment Bay 7, announced the cool, artificial voice of the station's AI. "All medical personnel to emergency stations. This is not a drill." Sam wiped ineffectively at the brown stain spreading across his chest and ran toward the main medical hub, his heart pounding. When he arrived, he found the alien medical staff in a state of controlled chaos. Dr. Xyrx, the station's Veldarian chief physician, stood at the center of the room, his 4 arms moving with practiced efficiency as he brought up holographic displays showing various parts of the station. His gray-scaled skin seemed paler than usual, and the ridge of spines along his head was fully extended, a sign of extreme stress among his species. "What's happening?" Sam asked, slightly out of breath. Xyrx's multifaceted eyes swiveled toward him. "The creature has escaped containment, again." "What creature?" Sam asked, scanning the emergency protocols flashing on the screens around them. "The one brought in from the derelict research vessel 3 days ago," explained Dr. Nylara, a Trescian physician whose translucent skin revealed the complex network of her circulatory system. "It was found in the engine room, apparently feeding on power conduits." "I haven't heard about this," Sam said. "Highest level quarantine," Xyrx replied tersely. "Even most of the station staff were not informed. The creature is highly dangerous and potentially contagious. It has already injured 2 security personnel." The door to the medical hub slid open, and 2 Krell security officers rushed in, supporting a third figure between them. The injured officer was bleeding from multiple lacerations across his armor-plated chest. "It attacked in Corridor B14, one of the Krells reported. "It moves too fast. We couldn't contain it." Xyrx grabbed a medical scanner and began examining the wounded officer. "These injuries are consistent with the previous attacks. Lacerations from what appear to be serrated appendages and evidence of some kind of toxin." Sam stepped closer to look at the wounds. They were deep and jagged, but something about the pattern struck him as odd. "Has anyone actually observed the creature's attack behavior?" he asked. "Observation is not our priority," Xyrx said sharply. "Containment is. The creature is a clear menace to this station. We've already lost contact with 2 research teams in the lower decks." The station AI's voice interrupted. "Alert! Containment breach has spread to decks 3 through 5. Life support compromised in sectors 7 and 8. We need to evacuate those decks," Nylara said, her skin flushing a pale blue with worry. Xyrx nodded. "Agreed, and we need to implement the final containment protocol." "What's that?" Sam asked, not liking the grim determination in Xyrx's voice. "If we cannot contain the creature within the next hour, we seal off the affected decks and vent them to space." Sam felt his blood run cold. "There are people down there, which is why we must evacuate them quickly," Xyrx replied. "But we cannot allow this creature to reach the station's central systems or the civilian quarters. The needs of the many, Dr. Larson." Sam wanted to argue further, but the medical hub doors slid open again, this time admitting a team of medics in full biohazard gear, carrying a stretcher. On it lay a Floxian engineer, her blue tentacular appendages twitching in pain. "Found her near the maintenance shafts," one of the medics reported. "Same attack pattern as the others." Nylara immediately moved to assist, her gentle hands examining the Floxian's wounds. "The toxin is spreading faster in her system. We need to administer the neutralizing agent." "I'll help," Sam offered, grabbing a medical kit and joining Nylara. As they worked to stabilize the engineer, Sam studied the wounds more closely. There was something familiar about them, something that didn't quite match Xyrx's assessment of a predatory attack. "These look like defensive wounds," he murmured, mostly to himself. "What?" Nylara asked, her luminescent eyes blinking in confusion. "The pattern of the lacerations," Sam explained. "They're consistent with defensive actions, not predatory ones. Look at the angle and depth. These weren't made by a creature attacking to feed or kill." Xyrx overheard and joined them. Your assessment is incorrect, Dr. Larson. We have studied the previous victims. The creature is highly aggressive. Have you actually seen it attack anyone? Sam pressed. No, Zyarks admitted, but the evidence is clear. Sam wasn't convinced. I'd like to review the security footage of the encounters. That is not a priority right now, Zyarks insisted. The station shuddered violently, throwing them all off balance. The lights flickered, and several of the medical displays went dark. The creature has reached the power distribution node on Deck 4, the AI announced. Station power at 70% and declining. It's heading for the central core, Zyark said, his voice tense. We have no choice now. Begin evacuation procedures for all affected decks and prepare to implement the final containment protocol. Wait, Sam said, grabbing Zyarks' lower arm. Let me go down there. That is out of the question, Zyarks replied. You lack the necessary training and equipment to deal with a hostile xenobiological entity. But I have a different perspective, Sam argued. If I'm right and this creature is acting defensively rather than aggressively, then maybe I can approach it differently. You will be killed, Nylara said softly. The creature has already injured 7 people. 7 people who were probably trying to capture or kill it, Sam pointed out. Look, I've studied xenobiology as part of my training on Earth. We have a saying, there are no evil creatures, just misunderstood ones. Zyarks' spines flattened slightly, a sign of skepticism. This is not one of your Earth nature documentaries, Dr. Larson. This is a real threat. 45 minutes until final containment protocol, the AI announced. Sam looked around at the alien medical staff, then at the injured personnel they were treating. Give me 20 minutes. If I don't make contact or report back by then, proceed with your plan. Zyarks and Nylara exchanged looks, communicating in that silent way that Sam had observed among the senior staff. Very well, Zyarks finally said. 20 minutes, but you will wear full biohazard protection, carry a locator beacon, and maintain constant communication. Agreed, Sam said, already moving toward the equipment locker. 10 minutes later, Sam stepped out of the emergency access lift onto Deck 4. The corridor was dark, with only emergency lighting casting long shadows across the floor. The air recyclers hummed erratically, creating an eerie, pulsing background noise. I'm on Deck 4, Section C, Sam reported through his suit's comm system. No sign of the creature yet. Proceed with extreme caution, Zyarks' voice crackled in his ear. The last sighting was near the power distribution node, approximately 50 meters ahead of your position. Sam moved forward slowly, his suit's external lights illuminating the way. The corridor showed signs of damaged panels torn from walls, exposed wiring, and strange scorch marks on the floor. These damage patterns are unusual, Sam commented, examining a section of wall where the metal appeared to have been partially melted. It looks almost like electrical discharge. The creature appears to feed on energy, Nylara's voice explained. It's why we believe it was drawn to the power systems. Sam continued forward, reaching a junction where the corridor split in 3 directions. His suit's sensors picked up an energy fluctuation to the left. I'm detecting something, he reported, going to investigate. Be careful, Nylara urged. Remember, 15 minutes remaining. Sam followed the energy reading down the left corridor, which led to a small maintenance room. The door was partially open, bent outward as if something had forced its way through. Taking a deep breath, Sam pushed the door open wider and stepped inside. The room was dark except for a strange, pulsating blue light coming from the far corner, and there it was. The creature was smaller than Sam had expected, perhaps the size of a large dog. Its body seemed to be composed of translucent, gelatinous tissue that pulsed with internal bioluminescence. Multiple tentacle-like appendages extended from its central mass, and what appeared to be sensory organs were clustered at what Sam assumed was the front. The creature was pressed against a power conduit, its appendages wrapped around the exposed wiring. As Sam watched, energy visibly flowed from the conduit into the creature's body, causing the blue luminescence to brighten. I've found it, Sam whispered into his calm. It's not what I expected. Describe it, Zyarks demanded. Bioluminescent, gelatinous body structure, multiple appendages, Sam reported. It's feeding on a power conduit, absorbing energy directly. That confirms our assessment, Zyark said. It's draining the station's power. You should retreat now, Dr. Larson. But Sam wasn't listening. He was watching the creature more closely. As it fed, he noticed that parts of its body appeared damaged. There were darker patches that didn't pulse with the same luminescence, and several of its appendages were shortened as if they had been cut. It's injured, Sam realized. Badly injured. The creature suddenly became aware of his presence. It detached from the power conduit and turned toward him, its appendages raising in what the others would interpret as an attack posture. But Sam saw something different. The creature wasn't advancing, it was backing away, pressing itself into the corner. Its appendages were positioned not to attack but to shield its central mass. It's afraid, Sam said. It's not aggressive, it's terrified. Dr. Larson, you need to leave immediately, Zyark ordered. The creature is preparing to attack. No, it's not, Sam insisted. It's trying to protect itself. Slowly, very slowly, Sam crouched down to make himself appear smaller and less threatening. He kept his movements deliberate and gentle. Hey there, he said softly. I'm not going to hurt you. The creature's appendages wavered slightly, and the pulsing of its luminescence slowed. That's it, Sam encouraged. I just want to help. He carefully reached into the medical kit attached to his suit and removed a small battery-powered diagnostic tool. He placed it on the floor and pushed it toward the creature. Here, energy, food for you. The creature hesitated, its sensory organs focusing on the device. Slowly, one appendage stretched out and touched the diagnostic tool. Immediately, the tool's power indicator began to drain and the creature's luminescence brightened. Amazing, Sam breathed. It can absorb energy directly from any power source. Dr. Larson, this is extremely dangerous, Zyark warned. You are giving it more strength. I'm establishing trust, Sam corrected. Look, I think I understand what happened. This creature was probably on that research vessel for a reason. It might be a specimen they were studying or maybe even a symbiotic helper species. When the vessel was damaged, it was injured and scared. It's been trying to heal itself by absorbing energy, and it's been defending itself from what it perceives as attacks. That is speculation, Zyark said dismissively. The fact remains that it has injured multiple personnel and is damaging critical station systems. 10 minutes until final containment protocol, the AI announced. Sam knew he needed to act quickly. The creature had finished absorbing energy from the diagnostic tool and was watching him with what seemed like curiosity. I need to get closer to examine it properly, Sam said. That is not advised, Nylara's voice came through, concern evident in her tone. I need to prove my theory, Sam insisted. If I'm right, this isn't a menace, it's a misunderstood, injured life form. Before they could protest further, Sam slowly extended his hand toward the creature. Its appendages twitched but didn't lash out. That's it, Sam said gently. I'm a doctor. I help hurt things get better. The creature's luminescence pulsed in a pattern that seemed almost like communication. Sam remained still, hand extended, waiting. After what felt like an eternity, one of the creature's appendages cautiously reached out and touched Sam's gloved hand. He felt a slight tingling sensation through the protective material as the creature seemed to test or examine him. It's not attacking, Sam reported. It's curious. Using his other hand, Sam slowly reached for his medical scanner. I'm going to try to get some readings. He activated the scanner and carefully moved it over the creature's body. The data that appeared on the small screen was fascinating. This is incredible, Sam said. Its cellular structure is unlike anything I've seen before. It appears to be able to convert electrical energy directly into biological energy. And these darker patches there definitely injuries. Some kind of trauma, possibly from the damage to the research vessel. 5 minutes until final containment protocol, the AI announced. Zyark, Nylara, you need to call off the protocol, Sam urged. This creature isn't a threat. It's injured and scared, and it's been defending itself the only way it knows how. There was a pause before Zyark responded. Your evidence is insufficient, Dr. Larson. Then I'm bringing it to you, Sam decided. I need a secure transport container, one with a power source inside it. You cannot bring that creature to the medical hub, Zyark said firmly. Either you help me help it, or I'm staying right here with it when you vent these decks, Sam said, a bluff he hoped he wouldn't have to follow through on. Another pause, longer this time. Then Nylara's voice. There's a specimen transport unit in the emergency cabinet at the end of the corridor. It has an internal power cell for life support. Thank you, Sam said, relief evident in his voice. He spoke to the creature again, keeping his tone soft and reassuring. I need to move you to a safe place where we can help you heal. There's a container with energy for you. Will you come with me? The creature's luminescence pulsed rapidly, but it didn't retreat. Sam stood slowly and backed toward the door, gesturing for the creature to follow. To his surprise and relief, it did, sliding across the floor with a fluid motion. Sam found the specimen transport unit a clear, cylindrical container with life support systems built into the base. He activated the power cell, causing a small indicator light to glow. The creature immediately showed interest, moving closer to the container. Sam opened the top and stepped back. There you go, food and safety. After a moment of apparent consideration, the creature flowed into the container. Sam quickly secured the lid, ensuring that air holes remained open while preventing escape. I've got it, he reported. I'm bringing it up to the medical hub. 3 minutes until final containment protocol, the AI announced. Override final containment protocol, authorization Zyark's Alpha 7. Zyark's voice came through the comm. Stand down alert status. Sam smiled in relief as he carried the container toward the emergency lift. Thank you, Zyark. Do not thank me yet, Dr. Larson, Zyark replied. You have not proven your theory. You have merely postponed the creature's fate. When Sam arrived at the medical hub, he found a secured examination area prepared with Zyark, Nylara, and several other medical staff waiting in protective gear. Place the container in the isolation field, Zyark instructed. Sam did as asked, carefully setting the transport unit in the center of a shimmering energy barrier that would prevent escape. Now, explain your theory in detail, Zyark said, his spine still partially extended in wariness. Sam pointed to the creature, which was contentedly absorbing energy from the transport unit's power cell. Look at its behavior. It's not aggressive when not threatened. The injuries on the security personnel and the engineer were defensive wounds, not predatory attacks. And these dark patches on its body are injuries, probably sustained when the research vessel was damaged. He pulled up the scanner data on a nearby display. Its cellular structure suggests it's an energy processing lifeform, possibly engineered or evolved to work with technology. I believe it may have been a symbiotic helper on the research vessel, assisting with power management or energy conversion. Nylara moved closer to the isolation field, studying the creature with newfound interest. These patterns of bioluminescence, they almost seem like communication. Exactly, Sam agreed. It's trying to communicate, but none of us understood. We saw a monster, but it's just a misunderstood friend. Zyark remained skeptical. Even if your assessment is correct, the creature has caused significant damage to the station. Because it was injured and needed energy to heal, Sam explained. It went for the power systems because that's what it needed to survive. If we provide it with a safe power source and treat its injuries, I believe it will be completely docile. And how do you propose to treat a life form we know nothing about? Zyark challenged. Sam thought for a moment. The scanner shows that its cellular structure regenerates when provided with sufficient energy. If we create a controlled environment with the right energy flow, it should be able to heal itself. Over the next several hours, Sam worked with Nylara to design a special containment habitat for the creature. They installed various power sources and monitored how the creature interacted with each one. It seems to prefer direct current over alternating, Nylara observed as they watched the creature wrap its appendages around a DC power node. And look, Sam pointed to the dark patches on the creature's body. They're already showing more luminescence. It's healing. Zyark joined them, his spines now relaxed, a sign that his anxiety had diminished. The damage reports from the affected decks suggest the creature was indeed following power conduits. It was not randomly destroying systems. It was looking for food, Sam said, just like any injured animal would. It is not an animal, Zyarks corrected. Its neural patterns are complex. The scans suggest a level of intelligence comparable to some sentient species, Sam smiled. Even better, that means we might be able to communicate with it eventually. The next day, the injured personnel began to recover, and repair teams worked to restore the damaged systems. Sam spent most of his time observing the creature, which he had started calling Spark due to its affinity for electricity. The healing progress is remarkable, Nylara said as she reviewed the latest scans. The damaged areas have reduced by almost 40%. And it hasn't shown any aggressive behavior since we provided it with proper energy sources, Sam added. Zyarks entered the lab, carrying a data tablet. We have received information from Central Archives about the research vessel. It was conducting studies on energy converting biological systems for long-term space missions. The creature, or rather, the being, was not a specimen. It was a crew member. Sam's eyes widened. A crew member, so it is sentient. According to the records, it is a luminari, a species from the Ceti Alpha system, Zyarks explained. They evolved in a high radiation environment and developed the ability to process various forms of energy. They have been working with other spacefaring races as energy specialists for centuries. So when the ship was damaged, Sam began. It was injured and separated from its crew, Nylara finished. It must have been terrified. Zyarks's expression was solemn. I must acknowledge my error in judgment. We assumed hostility when we should have recognized distress. Sam placed a hand on Zyarks's shoulder. We all make mistakes. The important thing is that we're learning from this one. Over the next week, Spark continued to heal, and the medical team made breakthroughs in communication. Using patterns of electrical pulses, they established a basic form of dialogue with the luminari. It's thanking us, Nylara translated as Spark pulsed a series of blue-white flashes, and it's asking about its ship and crew. The research vessel was severely damaged, Zyarks said grimly. There were no other survivors found. Sam watched as Spark's luminescence dimmed noticeably. It understands, it's grieving. In the days that followed, Sam spent hours with Spark, learning more about its species and abilities. The luminari shared knowledge about energy conversion that fascinated the station's engineers, and in return, they provided Spark with a specially designed habitat that met all its needs. Central Command has approved your request, Zyarks informed Sam 2 weeks later. The luminari will be transported to the Ceti Alpha outpost where it can be reunited with others of its kind. That's fantastic news, Sam said, feeling both happy for Spark and a little sad that his new friend would be leaving. On the day of departure, the medical staff gathered to say goodbye to Spark. The luminari had fully recovered, its body now glowing with bright, healthy bioluminescence. Safe travels, friend, Sam said, placing his hand against the habitat wall. Spark extended an appendage to touch the other side of the barrier, pulsing a complex pattern of lights. It says that you gave it life when others saw only danger, Nylara translated. It will tell its people about the humans who can see beyond fear. As the transport ship departed with Spark aboard, Sam stood with Zyarks and Nylara in the observation deck, watching the vessel become a distant point of light among the stars. You taught us an important lesson, Dr. Larson, Zyarks said, his spines relaxed in a way that indicated deep thought. In our rush to protect, we must not forget to understand. It's something we've learned the hard way on Earth, Sam replied. Fear often blinds us to the truth. The Station Council has approved a new protocol for unknown lifeform encounters, Nylara added. It emphasizes observation and communication before containment. They're calling it the Larson Protocol. Sam smiled, feeling a sense of pride and accomplishment. I'm honored, but the credit belongs to Spark as well. It was patient with us, even when we weren't patient with it. 3 months later, the Asteria station received a special visitor. A delegation from the luminari arrived to establish formal relations with the medical station and express gratitude for the rescue of their citizen. The lead luminari, a large, brilliantly glowing being named Alara, met with the station council and the medical team. Our people have long observed other species from a distance, Alara communicated through a translator device. We feared misunderstanding and conflict. But Spark's experience has shown us that communication and trust are possible. We're equally grateful for the knowledge Spark shared with us, Zyarks replied. Your energy conversion techniques have already improved our medical technology. Alara pulsed a series of lights toward Sam. Doctor. Samuel Larson, Spark speaks highly of you. You saw a friend where others saw a monster. I just paid attention to the evidence, Sam said modestly. Any good doctor would have done the same. Not true, Alara responded. Many would have followed fear rather than curiosity. In recognition of your actions, the Luminary Council wishes to offer you something. One of Alara's appendages extended, presenting a small, glowing orb that seemed to contain swirling energy patterns. This is a Luminary life crystal, Alara explained. It contains energy patterns that can accelerate healing and regulate biological systems. We offer it to your medical station as a tool for saving lives. Sam accepted the crystal with reverence, feeling its gentle warmth in his hands. This is an incredible gift, thank you. It is merely the beginning, Alara said. The Luminary wish to establish a permanent presence on this station. We believe our abilities can complement your medical knowledge. Together, we can heal in ways neither of us could alone. The proposal was enthusiastically accepted by the station council. Over the following months, a small community of Luminari joined the Asteria station. They worked alongside the medical staff, using their energy manipulation abilities to power advanced treatments and assist with difficult cases. Sam found himself working closely with a young Luminari named Tella, who had a particular interest in human physiology. Together, they pioneered new treatments for energy-related disorders and nerve damage. The human nervous system is fascinating, Tella communicated during one of their research sessions. It operates on electrical impulses not unlike our own communication methods. That's probably why we've been able to work together so effectively, Sam replied, reviewing their latest results. There's a fundamental similarity despite our very different evolutions. A year after Spark's arrival on the station, the Asteria had been transformed. The medical hub now featured special Luminari treatment chambers where patients with certain conditions could receive energy therapy. The station had become famous throughout the sector for its groundbreaking medical techniques and unprecedented cooperation between diverse species. Sam stood in the observation lounge, watching the stars and reflecting on how much had changed. He sensed a familiar presence and turned to see Spark, who had returned to the station as an official liaison floating nearby. "Hello, friend," Sam greeted. "How are the new recruits settling in?" Spark pulsed a cheerful pattern that Sam could now understand without translation. "They are eager and learning quickly. The young ones especially enjoy working with the children in the pediatric ward. They've been a huge help there," Sam agreed. "The kids aren't scared of the treatments when they see them as playing with the glowing friends." Spark's luminescence shifted to a more serious pattern. "We received word from the research outpost in the Procyon system. They have encountered an unknown lifeform that they cannot classify." "Let me guess," Sam said with a smile. "They're requesting our assistance?" "Yes," Spark confirmed. "They specifically asked for the team that created the Larson protocol. The station council has approved a mission. Zyark suggested you might want to lead it." Sam looked back at the stars, thinking about how a single moment of compassion and curiosity had changed so many lives. "A year ago, I was just a human doctor on an alien station, trying not to make too many mistakes," he said. "Now we're being called to help with first contact scenarios. Because you saw beyond fear," Spark pulsed gently. "You called me a friend when others called me a menace." "And I was right," Sam said, smiling at the Luminari. "You are a friend, one of the best I've ever had." The next day, as Sam packed for the mission to Procyon, he carefully placed the medical scanner he'd used to first examine Spark in his kit. It served as a reminder that healing began not just with treatment, but with understanding. Dr. Nylara found him in his quarters, her translucent skin glowing with excitement. "The transport is ready. Zyarks and Tella are already aboard." "And Spark?" Sam asked. "Waiting for you at the airlock," she replied. The Luminary Council insisted that he accompany us given his unique experience. Sam closed his medical kit and took one last look around his quarters. You know, when I volunteered for this exchange program, I thought I'd be learning about alien physiology and treatments. I never expected to be redefining interspecies relations. The best discoveries are often unplanned, Nylara said wisely. What matters is how we respond to the unexpected. As they walked to the airlock, Sam thought about the journey ahead. Whatever they found at Procyon, he would approach it with the same open mind that had served him well with Spark. In a universe full of differences, understanding was the true universal language. Spark greeted them at the airlock, pulsing with anticipation. Ready for another adventure, Dr. Larson? Sam nodded, stepping through the airlock to the waiting transport ship. Always ready to make new friends, Spark, always ready. As the transport ship departed from Asteria station, carrying its diverse crew of healers toward the unknown, Sam knew that they carried something more valuable than advanced medical equipment or diplomatic credentials. They carried the simple but powerful idea that had changed everything. Sometimes, what looks most alien, most frightening, most dangerous is simply misunderstood. And understanding begins with the willingness to see a potential friend where others see only a menace. In the vastness of space, as stars streaked past the viewport, Sam reflected that perhaps this was the true frontier of medicine, not just healing bodies, but healing perceptions. And in that mission, every new encounter was not a threat, but an opportunity to expand the circle of understanding one more time.